let's bring in Alabama Senator Tommy Tuberville. Senator, Coach, great to see you. Well, there was a big lesson for some Republicans, wouldn't you say, from MAGA and Doge, because what just passed in the House of Representatives was about 1/13 the size of what got introduced on Monday evening, which was an omnibus bill. That was no continuing resolution.
Well, you're right, Dagan. All that was is a wish list for the Democrats, and they've done this every year. Every year I've been here, they push it to the limit. They go up to the final seconds, and of course they're going to try to get every dime out of the American taxpayer they possibly can. But luckily, MAGA's taken over. President Trump, the Doge brothers, everybody that's involved. It's been a hard process for the House. It'll come to the Senate tonight. We'll probably get it within an hour or so, but it's going to take us 8 to 10 votes. We'll have some amendment votes, and we'll probably be here close to midnight. And then Chuck Schumer will jump up and say, look what we did. We saved the government from shutting down, and it's the biggest farce I've ever been around.
We've got confirmation that the vote indeed did pass. All the nays were GOP votes. Every Democrat who voted for the bill. Clearly a victory for Speaker Johnson. But I wonder if you can just make sense of, okay, so it got done. It's smaller. It's slimmer. There's no debt ceiling increase. Does this feel like the kind of setup that President-elect Trump wants to get done the bigger part of his project, which is to cut spending and make the federal budget look more like something that responsible people would put together?
Yeah, it's a good start. You know, the disaster a few days ago when that came out, it was an embarrassment. It was an embarrassment to President Trump and MAGA and all the people that voted. You know, outstanding numbers, you know, record votes come out to say, listen, we got to change this mess. And all of a sudden, Mike Johnson comes out with this omnibus bill that everybody's looking around going, what the heck's going on here? And so I think he learned a lesson. He learned a lesson that the guy running the House and the Senate for the Republicans and the White House, a guy named Donald Trump. And so I think people grew up in this moment. Hopefully we learned a lot, but we got to get on the train because President Trump's not going to have forever to get this done. We have got to get something done for the tax reform and the border right off the bat. And if we don't do that, then the American people are going to say, hey, I told you so. You know, you weren't able to get it done, and they'll go back voting for some on the other side.
Coach, there were Republicans when that 1,500-plus page omnibus was dumped, who were angry that their own little pet spending projects weren't included in it. Now, they might have been titmouse quiet about it, but they've got some learning to do because a large swath of the United States right now, they're members of the Shut It Down caucus because they know that only 6% of the federal workforce show up every day on a full-time basis into the office. They are done with the regular way of doing things in the nation's capital.
People voted for a change. There's a new sheriff in town, and he's got a different badge than he had on 4 years ago when he walked out of the office in 2021. But now he's back, and people have said, you change it or we're going to change something that you're not going to like. And President Trump is the only guy that can get this done. He's going to have a great group of assistant coaches, Dagan, that we're trying to get, you know, confirmed. Unfortunately, we got some Republicans that want to feel like they're relevant. But let's give him the people around him very quickly and get this thing off to a start. Right after January the 3rd, we get back. Let's go with it and get President Trump ready to come out of the blocks.
Right. He's got a different posse this time, and they're a bunch of shin kickers.
I'm liking the metaphor here. I'm trying to figure out how to extend it. Let's talk about the old sheriff, Senator. He's not been present at all in any of this. Nowhere. Vice president, nowhere to be found. Press secretary, evading every question about why he's not involved. Has he just given up? Has he just said, you know what, I cede this territory to Trump? It seems like he has.
And the mainstream media is going, hey, what's wrong with him? He's sharp as a tack.
Yeah, right.
It's embarrassing to see the mainstream media, what they've done, and tried to trick the American people. Hopefully the American people look at the mainstream media as the enemy now. and start listening to people that actually care about this country. President Biden, he hadn't had both oars in the water since I've gotten here 4 years ago. And it has been very, very rough for me to watch, knowing that I believe in leadership, and we've had no leadership. I don't know who's been running the show. We've got a bunch of kids, or Jake Sullivan, or Blinken. Or, I think everybody's doing their own thing, and they haven't done one positive thing for the American people in 4 years. And that's the reason President Trump got a hard job getting ready to start January the 20th.
Senator, before we move on, do you think once President Trump is inaugurated, with the tax reform, extending the Trump tax cuts and border, do you expect one big reconciliation package gets done? One, rather than a bunch of smaller ones. I know that that's Larry Kudlow's greatest concern.
Well, the first thing is you got to remember it's very hard to get any bills done. And so we got to make sure that the American people get money in their pocket and we get this country back going again, growing. If we don't grow the country through getting people back to work, cutting down on the taxes for the American people, we're going to have a tough time growing. We've got to start that right off the bat. Hopefully we can get that done along with the border. We all know the border's got to be closed up, but I'm a true believer in Tom Homan. I've watched him, and I tell you what, he is fired up, ready to go to work. And again, going back to this past administration, it has been a complete disaster, and it couldn't have been any worse. And the guy hid out in his basement to get elected. Yeah. He hasn't done anything in 4 years, and thank God we've got President Trump in, and American people believed in him for the second time. He will get it done.
Yeah, we just got 15 seconds left. The Make America Healthy Again caucus that you've got with Senator Marshall. Really quickly, tell us about it.
Well, we got to help, get our kids healthy. Chronic disease, viruses, the vaccines, all those things have to trust back to the American people. And RFK Jr. is the guy to do that, and I'm fully behind him. And I hope the rest of my Republicans will get behind him. He deserves a shot.
Okay.
You do it through encouragement too, Senator, and not telling the American people how they live, but encouraging them to just live a healthier life too. And I know that's where you come in, sir. Coach, good to see you. Senator Tommy Tuberville.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.